Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/spookshow. Then go over to morbidlybeautiful.com as we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcasting Network.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You'll float too! You'll float too! You'll too!
Everybody here dies by dawn. Dead by dawn!
Welcome to the Spook Show. Hello and welcome back to the All-American Spook Show podcast. I'm Josh. I'm joined here with Donnie.
Yo.
Tiana.
Hey.
And the Professor Smook.
What's up?
And we have the Academy Awards coming up. I think it's on March 15th, right? So we decided to kind of take the next couple of weeks to talk about, because let's be honest, we don't get this opportunity very often, do we, Smoke, throughout history, where like you have not only one but two horror movies that have a lot of nominations at the Oscars.
Yeah. Nice.
So we're taking the next 2 weeks to talk about that. And this week we're going to be talking about Frankenstein. That came out.
It's Frankenstein.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mispronounced it. I'm sorry. It came out late last year. That was basically a direct to Netflix movie, but it did get a small theatrical run, right? I guess so. It could be nominated. I think there's some rule where it has to play for like a couple of weeks or something.
Oh yeah.
In theaters for it to be nominated for an Oscar. So that it could get this nomination that led us to talking about it today. It had to play that, but mostly this was like, straight to Netflix kind of thing. So in that regard, like we're not going to have our normal measures here as far as like box office and all. I mean, there was a little bit, but like for a movie, I'm just going to spoil that now. For a movie that had $120 million budget, 120, it only made $480,000 in the box office. That's fucking sad. Considering what this movie, and we'll get into that, right? Everything we like about it and everything, but that's fucking sad.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Was it because now? Did it ever get a wide release? We saw it in the theater, and it's before we get into all that, it was a cool night for us because it was Halloween night. This past Halloween, we went to Sullivan's Island to Poe's Tavern, and then after that, we went over there to see this movie. So that was a cool Halloween experience, and it was a good movie to see in the theater. But I don't know. And you might have this information, how wide it was released.
I don't think, best I can tell, in Box Office Mojo is where I usually pull the numbers from. It doesn't have much. Like, even on there, it's just it got some kind of release in South Korea, where it kind of chalks up most of the money from. So I think it was just a very slim, maybe not a Fathom events, but pretty fucking close kind of release.
Yeah.
Very limited.
Yeah, because we had to travel, what, an hour?
Well, we went to Charleston because, we wanted to go to that Post Tavern, but we made it a trip because that was the only place we could see. It wasn't playing in Columbia or anything. So, I mean, we had to go to Charleston to see it.
So very limited, limited release in theaters. And like I said,
and like you said, it's probably for the Oscar contention, right? I'm assuming that
was it.
So they didn't really plan to put it in theaters to begin with, anyways. I don't think, which I don't know why. It's a good.
He had a deal on Netflix. That's why.
So Netflix did it maybe for the Oscar thing, like you were saying.
It did play at the. It debuted actually. It made its world premiere at the 82nd Venice International Film Festival in late August of 2025, and then it played in various places around the globe throughout September leading up to, it was released October 17th, 2025 in select theaters. And those included screenings on 35 millimeter, which that would have been cool, and IMAX, which also would have been cool. Then it was released on November 7th on Netflix. So I think at that point, like, it was out. So it looks like to me about a week, maybe two, of playing very, very select. And then gone, which is a damn shame for this movie. But I mean, it's Netflix making it for Netflix reasons. So, which remember we got into that in that little brief Warner Brothers Netflix thing. Remember we talked about that? This is where you might run into some shit, eventually with that. Like, they're saying like they want to be hands off and let Warner Brothers just do their thing, and then they'll just kind of do it. But what will eventually happen? They'll eventually they'll shrink that theatrical window, because I think right now they're sticking. Supposedly, I heard recently they're supposedly sticking to a 45-day theatrical release for Warner Brothers. That's Netflix plan. Like once they acquire it, all this shit goes down. They would still let Warner Brothers produce the movies and release them in theaters for 45 days. Then I guess it would be on Netflix or whatever this new thing would be with HBO or whatever, right? But you know what's going to happen.
The average anyway nowadays. I mean, not straight to like Netflix, where it's kind of like not free, but you know what I mean.
Well, you pay for
But
Netflix, you're watching
to
it.
go to some of these movies in 2 weeks are on video on demand now already.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Even a lot of the indie flicks and stuff too. Like they're
Mhm.
not getting wide releases anyways. But even the ones that do kind of come close to a wide release, it's only for a week or two, and then generally it's very limited.
Yeah,
bigger cities, and then it's going to go to VOD. It's going to be able to rent on Google or Plex or wherever the hell you rent your movies. But it's a shame, for this type of movie. Like I said, we'll get into that, but you would think that this would have got a longer release than that, considering how much money they put into it. But clearly, like I said, the measures are off. Like we don't know all the measures because Netflix has their own methods, right? They know what is being watched and what isn't, and what will make them money and won't. So I assume the way they make their money on this would be subscriptions, and then eventually these movies getting nominated for Oscars, right? Because then they could tout that, they could brag about that, even though they, other than funding it, they had no influence on that because they didn't even want the masses to see it, at least not on, not in theaters. So it's kind of weird that way, but it would have been cool though. I did not get to see it in theaters. You guys said you did. Donnie, did you see it in theaters or did you see it
I did
on
not.
Netflix?
No, I saw it on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't, I was one of the ones that didn't get a chance when it did have that limited release. Did y'all see it just regular screening or was it 35 millimeter? Was it IMAX?
No, I wasn't. I wish it was 35 millimeter. No, it was just regular. I know it wasn't 35 millimeter. It had to be just the stream, however they do.
Yeah.
Digital stream right to the
That's pretty
screen.
much what it is now, yeah. These days, most theaters. Or in IMAX, right now. It wasn't that either.
No, I wasn't IMAX either. No.
Because that
It would have been cool. I can imagine it would look pretty damn awesome though on IMAX or on 35 millimeter.
Yeah. And that's what's aggravating to me, like knowing that there were 35 millimeter. I know there's not a lot of places that can play that anymore, but large format IMAX type places, more of them should have played it,
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, it's funny is that you don't realize. I mean, your average person going to see movies doesn't even know the difference. Unless even if they saw the 35 millimeter print, they might not even recognize. But when you do see one, I long for that. I wish we still had that, but I realize that it's much more efficient, I guess, for the theaters to do it the way they're doing it now, rather than shopping around all these 35 millimeter prints and all this stuff and whatever.
I worked in theaters back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I had to deal with those prints. It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass. But
so I'm sure it's much more easier for them now.
Oh God, I can't even imagine now. Geez, I'm sure it's just like they program in a time for it to stream.
Yeah.
And there's a dude up there to make sure the projectors don't blow up. That's probably about it,
Yeah. And sometimes those dudes don't do their job right when it's like a 3D movie or something, and they don't flip the switch for it or do whatever they need to do for it to be in 3D, or you got to go tell them, hey, the thing's not, whatever.
The problem I've never run into that with 3D, but the problem I usually have in theaters sometimes is they don't change the aspect ratio on the.
Oh, okay.
Like
they
don't move the curtains back or forward or something. You're like,
then
what the
sometimes the lights don't go out.
Yeah, the lights don't. Yeah, sometimes they don't turn those out when they're
believe me, I'm the dude that I know where the lights are. I'll go cut them fucking off. That happened to me. That's happened to me a couple of times. I just go over there and cut them off. I'm not waiting on some 16-year-old, to. I'm sorry, I didn't cut the lights out. No, I'm just gonna go cut them out because fuck that. And then we'll go complain and get free tickets.
Yeah.
This is the way of theaters now. Well, sometimes you go to there's a couple theaters I know you could go to that are shitty. Like when you go to this theater and then the certain numbers of the theaters, that theater sucks. The sound is going to suck or the picture's going to suck. So you can just load that in your back pocket. Like, oh yeah, I'm getting a free movie out of this. But you don't want to be that guy too bad, just when it's shitty. I mean, God knows you pay enough for it now, right?
Yeah, we've had, speaking of just weird theater experiences where you get refunded, the craziest one, I guess. Well, I mean, it probably happens more often than you think, but the power went out, right? We're seeing Jurassic World, I think.
No.
Or
Oh yeah, it
was
was
that one
that.
time?
There
Maybe it was
two,
twice. Maybe it was 2 times that happened.
No, the power went out once because it was a huge storm, and the other one was because it just didn't
Oh,
have
again, the streaming.
whatever.
This now here's the problem. Not to make this a whole, another rabbit hole here, but talking about streaming versus 35 millimeter print. You
Yeah.
got a 35 millimeter print. You string it up, it
You
goes.
got it.
You might have some other technical issues that could happen or whatever, but it's there. The other thing is this: they
The
didn't.
streaming. It didn't come in
It
time
didn't.
or something.
I don't know. You may know more about that as far as how that works, but it's supposed to be scheduled for this theater at this time, and if you don't do that, then you don't have it.
Yeah,
It
but
didn't come, so
I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I do know that they keep that shit on lock. You know what I mean? Because they
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
just copies of it floating out there, and that's what would happen. So yeah, it's all encrypted type of stuff. Like
Yeah. So they forgot to whatever happened. They didn't have it scheduled for this theater at this time, so they couldn't show it. So we basically got refunded for
that's
that.
almost a sold out showing.
Yeah, everybody's pissed off. I don't even remember what it was now.
believe me, back in the film days, though, mistakes were made. I mean, I think I've told the story
Oh,
before
yeah.
when I worked at a movie theater and we showed the wrong movie in the wrong theater at, like it was like we mixed the theaters up. So it was like this movie's supposed to play in theater 1, this one's supposed to play in 2. We switched 2 and 1. So like all the kids are in there to watch the Muppet movie or whatever the hell, and then we're showing.
And it was Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah, no, it's
like what the fuck?
It's pretty bad. It was like Fight Club or something like that. But then the kicker was like it just. Thank God it was like in the middle of the day when there was nobody in there. And I think one of the ushers went down and like check, make sure nobody was coming through the exit door or something. And then it's like, wait a minute, where's the Muppet movie or whatever the fuck it was? And it was Fight Club.
There's some kid over the corner is like, oh my god.
Yeah. So, some kid that snuck
I'm
into
totally
the Muppet,
changed.
he snuck into the Muppet movie and he said, "Who was Tyler Durden?"
He came out of there saying,
He goes,
don't talk about
seeing Fight Club instead of Muppets.
Yeah.
The first rule is
So yeah, it would happen. But yeah, believe me, the film, they came with their own pains, and they had a lot of pains too. But it still looks better. Still looks better than what we get a lot of times now. I think in a lot of ways. This is honestly a conversation we need to have, like Adam Portress, our good friend from the Hero. Well, yeah, what is it called? Hero Movie Pod, HMP.
Yeah.
He knows a lot more about this, and he's worked in theaters a lot more recently than I have. So he could probably tell you all the ins and outs. But anyways, Frankenstein, which didn't play in the theaters that much. It was, like I said, it was released. It had its debut on August 30th of last year in Venice, but then it was released October 17th of 2025 here in the U.S. Very limited, but then it debuted on Netflix November 7th of 2025, and that's where it still lives today. Where most people, that's where I saw it. That's where Donnie saw it. It's probably where most people will see it moving forward, right? Because it clearly did not make much money in the movie theaters. It's rated R, total run time of 2 hours and 29 minutes. So this movie is a whole lot longer than our normal fare, for sure. But it never, there might have been a little drag to it in some spots, but it never dragged too much where you're like staring at the clock to me. Like, oh, fuck, when will this thing be over? Right?
No. And it is rather long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I didn't notice it as much.
No, but it's because it's well done and it keeps up the pace.
Yeah, and something also is that we've talked about other horror movies like period horror, which I usually struggle with. But no, I enjoyed the hell out of this.
Yeah, and it Del Toro does a good job in this of capturing that time period, right? Like, that's a big part, like the set design and obviously the effect. It's Del Toro, so you're going to get good effects. Which,
speaking of those sets, I know the interior sets for like the lab and some of the other interiors, he did hands-on set design. They were real sets built, not like digital, where a lot of times those types of things are more feasible for directors to do in a green screen.
Yeah.
Some of that. I'm sure the outdoor, some of the, the tower and all that was CG more than likely. But the interior sets, like the captain, the ship, when he's talking to Victor in his stateroom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, pretty much most of the interior sets, I think, were actually
any of that, definitely any of that more intimate set pieces for sure. You know,
Yeah.
all made that
But
way.
he said he wanted it done that way. He didn't
Yeah.
want to do any CG or green screen or anything for interior sets.
This movie got 9 Oscar nominations, so it'll be interesting to see how many it pulls away. I mean, I think unfortunately, like it'll probably lose some of these to some bigger flicks and and whatnot. But like it'll be interesting to see how many it eventually lands. But it got 9 nominations, including Best Achievement in Cinematography, which I don't think there's any argument there, right? Like this should be one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling. Best Achievement in Music written for motion pictures, which is original score. That's by Alexandre Desplat. I think that's how you say his name. Nominee for Best Sound. Nominee for, of course, Best Motion Picture of the Year. Nominated, Jacob Elordi was nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting, so Best Supporting Actor. Guillermo, God damn it, I knew I was going to do it. Guillermo del Toro. I can't fucking say it. He got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Achievement in Production Design, and also the last one was Best Achievement in Costume Design. That was Kate Hawley. So the only thing there I didn't see that sticks out to me is Del Toro didn't get Best Director, the Best Director nomination. I'm not running through the whole list of what did and all that jazz, but yeah. So, I mean, the only major one there that sticks out to me is that, right? Because all the other ones. Remember when the Oscars tried to make that one that was like best fan film, not fan film, but like there was a category that got aborted real quick because everybody's like, what the fuck is this? But it was basically like, it was a category where it was like the picture that sucked but made the most money.
Highest grossing or whatever.
So I don't know what they called it, but it was just like that ended real quick. Like they did it and they're like, nah, we're not doing that again. They just went away because everybody was shitting on it. Like, wait a minute, what the fuck? But yeah, there you go. 9 nominations. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those it comes over with. I mean, I would think at least like it may not get best. It probably won't get best picture, right? Like, but adapted screenplay or production design or cinematography, maybe. Like, I think it'd have to be a strong contender in some of those.
Something
right?
there, yeah.
So we will see come March 4th or March 15th, I believe it is. We'll see what it lands on. But Jacob Elordi, he did a hell of a job as the what would you call him in here? The creature, right? The monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And damn it, I don't have the damn. I'm blanking on his name. The dude that was in the Tarantino.
Oscar?
What'd you say?
Oscar Isaac.
You're talking about the main guy?
He's good. He's good too. No,
Oscar.
I'm not even thinking about
Yeah.
him. I'm thinking about Christoph Waltz.
Oh yeah.
Dude's good in like every fucking thing he's in, but he's like the financier or whatever the hell his role was.
Yeah.
He does a hell of a job.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Oscar Isaac is Victor Frankenstein. And he didn't get nominated anything, right? I didn't say his name just now, so that's a shame too, because he did a hell of a job in it as well.
And I think I read where Del Toro wanted him to be. He didn't want him to play him like the typical, Frankenstein's been played before.
Mm-hmm.
He was aiming more for a rock star type attitude from him, like David Bowie or,
yeah,
somewhere along those lines. Which his mannerisms and way of just being.
He definitely plays into the God complex thing a little bit more.
Yeah.
In this, like, I mean, that's always been a theme in the Frankenstein story.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's just a bit more blatant with it, I guess. Like when he's doing the demonstration for them in the
Oh.
and
yeah, like he definitely plays it up more in here. Like, I'm the genius that did this. Fuck you. And he's even like jealous of the monster in a way, right?
Yeah,
because he wants all the credit. I made you, that kind of thing, But like, whereas in a lot of other depictions of Frankenstein, he's kind of more like, "What have I done?" Like once he's created the monster, it's the God complex thing, but he's more like, "Oh shit, I created this thing. It's actually working. No, this is bad. We got to kill it."
What was it? That's actually it's kind of an interesting thing. Doc Brown in Back to the Future he's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
Because he ended up having to. Well, he had mentioned having to destroy the time machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's too dangerous.
His
like,
greatest achievement.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's too powerful. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
It's too whatever. This can't be. This can't be around.
So yeah, Back to the Future and Frankenstein.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's a good comparison, actually. You know, as far as at least on that side of it. Who else we got? We've got Christoph Waltz's character, by the way, is Harlander. We've got Mia Goth as Elizabeth in this one. What'd you think of her performance? No nominations
She
for
was
her.
good, but they kept her very quiet.
Subdued.
But I guess that was, supposed to be her way. She was quiet until, she knew what she wanted to say. Then she wasn't so quiet.
I'm blanking. What was the one that came out that we didn't like as much? Pearl X, and what was the one?
Oh, Maxine.
Oh, Maxine.
Maxine, yeah. Maybe after Maxine, they're like, we're going to dial her down a little bit. Not her fault.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that's her.
That's not. It's just. But she's good in it, though. It's just like you said. She kind of comes in and out. Like she's playing a big role that's not like a constant present big role, if that makes sense. Kind of in and out of the picture. I did like the aspect of the story. I don't think we're going to go blow by blow on this one just because, it's still fairly new, and I don't think there's no reason to go in and out of all the deep plot points. But I did like the back and forth in the storyline type of thing that they did here, where like you set it up at the beginning of like you're almost from the beginning, you're at the end of the story. Now let's go back until kind of reminds me.
And there's the difference for the novel. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say it's reminiscent to a couple of those Frankenstein Hammer movies, right? Where they, what was it? The second one where they kind of go back.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like here, you're kind of at the end. Now let's go back and get us back to this point, kind of thing. So there's some similar.
It starts off like the novel pretty much, and especially at the beginning of the Arctic or whatever when they're, that's very much like the novel. The novel starts off there. Where it kind of differs is when it goes down into, well, I mean, there's other various points, but the main part where difference is the creature's point of view. They don't really have that in the novel. He's not really telling anything from the creature's point of view in the novel, but when he gives his story of events,
how many? I mean, there's been this feels like dozens upon dozens of Frankenstein movies, but how many how many you think took it down this path that this one did, as far as like more from the creatures or the monsters' perspective? Not many. That I can
not many, right?
Not many, but the one with Robert De Niro.
De Niro is kind of sort of this is kind of
similar.
probably the most reminiscent of that, And I love that movie. I think that's an underrated Frankenstein movie.
I think that was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, right? That was the name of it.
Yeah.
And that might even.
And whatever you think of Robert De Niro as the creature, I mean, it's fine. Whatever. I mean, you don't really think of that being the top Frankenstein monster, portrayal or whatever. And it's probably not for me either. But that movie itself, I mean, it's fine. His approach was fine to he doesn't stand out as a creature, but you don't necessarily want too much that the creature's not supposed to overshadow the other elements of the storyline. But I think this one is also more reminiscent of the novel, the way that he looks in this movie. Even more so than De Niro's look in, that one, Mary Shelley's.
We got some similar things, but I don't think we quite got the flaming windmill scene in this one, did we? Like,
no, we did.
Yeah,
there was some windmills.
windmills in the background when they were collecting the dead soldiers. Yeah.
So they at
There
least
is
put
little Easter eggs, even in where he shows his, the first creature design, or like, the first thing that he brought back in front of all the students or the people. Even that, you notice the face that looks exactly like the old Universal, like in the face, the old Universal Frankenstein.
Yeah, like Boris Karloff.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Bolts in the neck and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a well done flick, and like, some of the effects, some of the well, I guess the question is, what did you think of the creature itself, like the makeup job, the look of Frankenstein's monster? What do you think?
Very well done.
I think it's equal to the novel, the way it's described in the novel, which is less. Well, in the novel, there's none of the science aspect of the lightning and having to put him up on the table and get him up to lightning and do all this stuff to get him to come to life. He's just, it's more of a almost black magic in the novel. I mean, it's very low key the way he's brought back to life there. But the way it's described, he looks is pretty much like he is in this movie.
It's intermission time. Time to pause and refresh at the snack bar. During this short break, you can treat your taste of good food and sparkling cold beverages, including delicious Coca-Cola. If you're hot dog hungry, we have them. Sizzling, juicy hot dogs served in warm, oven-fresh buns. Plus a complete menu of all your favorites. Visit the Refreshment Center now. Enjoy delicious food and ice-cold Coca-Cola.
So, as someone who has never read, the book, and
I was going to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The book.
I've
yeah.
never read anything that I wasn't,
Dr. Seuss.
Didn't have to read.
The fine works of Dr. Seuss, I believe
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I don't, I don't know what, to how to compare the look of the monster, between how
And I'm the same on this one because I think I've started reading the book a long time ago, but I never finished it. I've read Bram Stoker's Dracula, that book, but I've never swung back around and finished Frankenstein. So
yeah,
you're lost on me too there as far as like the comparisons.
Yeah, but comparing to, I guess, I don't want to say more modern, but other adaptations, or I'm sorry, other depictions of Frankenstein, I liked this. It was a little more. I don't know the exact term for it, but no,
maybe realistic or something that could scientifically happen as opposed to
yeah.
When I think of Frankenstein, I'm sure I'm like most. I think of Boris Karloff.
Yeah, and that was like who had Jack Arnold, I guess, right?
And
that designed it,
and Herman Munster.
Yeah, who was basically a
that's like the
parody
first thing,
of Karloff.
Yeah, and cartoony. So that's the first thing that pops into my head is square head, bolts in the neck, big shoes.
Well,
That's Frank. This is the opposite of that.
Yeah,
this is way opposite. This is the most beautiful monster yet.
Yeah, this is almost like. Now, I don't really get into comic books, but this is almost like a creation from, comic books.
Yeah. Which I get, Smoke, you're better versed in the book, which I assume is more closer to that, right? Like as far as
even in the Arctic region, whenever he's there with the big coat thing on and all that, or he's got his face covered up with the big hooded thing. And all.
That's a cool look.
Stuff like that. Yeah, that's a cool look.
Yeah,
and his look in general is kind of because the novel is called Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus, and Prometheus, the god who brings fire to the humans, brings basically culture to humanity from the gods, is kind of described that way too. He's balding and like muscular, and so I mean, I think Mary Shelley's kind of playing off of Prometheus, the myth of Prometheus, and the way he looked when she came up with the way Frankenstein's creature looked. So.
I like this.
In that way, it's very similar.
The one, like in all the depictions you see, there are similar story beats.
Mm-hmm.
The old man. I just remember Young Frankenstein, where it's Gene Hackman as the old man, and he's blind, so he can't see him or whatever. But it's that part of it, right? It's that part.
Yeah,
of it.
Well, that comes from it too. Yeah, from Frankenstein,
I assume so,
right?
Because that's even. I remember a slightly even different version that's in the Boris Karloff Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But that's where he picks up the girl and like yeets her in the pond or whatever. Right? But that scene was played really well in this one. I think because it expanded on it and made you really feel it. More. Because usually it's like kind of like the monster hangs out there for a little while. He trusts the old man. Something bad happens, in any depiction you see, and then fire. Something happens, and then the monster accidentally kills the guy or has some hand in killing the guy. This one wasn't really like that. It's just kind of like he almost like had a family. He learned to love this man and this man's family and everything, and then like he lived in the walls like a mouse kind of thing, like, and it was almost like a saint to them and stuff like that, right? But I just love that version of this, and once again, I don't know how that compares to the book version of it, but I did love that whole scene and that whole dynamic of really that's how he kind of learned to become more human in this movie, was dealing with the old man and living with his family and all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
Really well done. The whole dynamic with the you knew there would be some kind of plot twist. I'm talking about with Christoph Waltz's character, where like he's basically supplying him with the money and the means to do this, and you knew that there would be a reason for this eventually, and the reason was he was dying, right? And he wanted his brain to be put inside the monster.
Yeah.
So he would have been abnormal in this situation. But
then he was the way he died.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably one of the more gruesome. I mean, there's some gruesome stuff in here, but that one was probably, oh shit.
Yeah.
Not to give anything away. Later.
It's funny because he is in the new Dracula too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but like I saw that trailer or whatever, and then when we were talking about that in the preview of the year or whatever, I was like, oh, there you go. So
and that actually came out last year in France, so he was in Frankenstein and Dracula
in the same year. Yeah,
it's funny.
So he's trying to pull like what was it, Bela Lugosi that did that, or wasn't he in both? All right.
He was in Son of Frankenstein. Bela Lugosi was in the Son of Frankenstein as Igor. The first Frankenstein movie, he wasn't even called Igor. It was something else. He was called something else, but I don't even think he was Hunchback necessarily. The Hunchback Igor character pretty much comes in with Bela Lugosi in Son of Frankenstein.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Wolfman, where Bela Lugosi had like a smaller role. And that wasn't it, Wolfman?
Yeah.
And his name is Bela.
Yeah. He was one of the gypsies, right? In the camp.
They didn't even think to like give him a name of Frank or some shit. No, you're just fucking Bella, you know. We'll just roll with it.
And that was one of the other Easter eggs. His cane.
Oh, what was the
was the Wolfman cane?
Okay. Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
And now we're getting a new Wolfman or werewolf movie later this year, right? And with that Robert Eggers werewolf.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be coming out at Christmas.
Yeah.
So.
Now, and I don't know. See, I haven't. I've tried not to read too much about that one, and I'm sure I'll watch the trailer when it comes out. Yeah. But I'm expecting though, because it's Robert Eggers, a lot of people I think are going to expect a traditional werewolf movie in the line of something like, even though it's set back in a different time, like American Werewolf or The Howling, and I don't think you're going to get that because he's more of the subtle folk horror stuff. I think it'll be more folklore related, like The Witch or whatever it was, rather than here's a full on werewolf transformation. He's gonna tear these people up, and people might expect it to be a full on werewolf movie, and I think there'll be a disappointment because I don't think it will be that.
Yeah,
maybe I'll be proven wrong. I mean, I'm not looking for it to be that. A lot of people will be looking for it to be that though, because it's called Werewolf, and and he did Nosferatu, so they might be expecting a full on werewolf movie, and I don't think.
Well, he did the Northman, right?
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's something more closer to that. Like in like the look of it or something. The
look of it will be like that.
That's in my head something closer to that than like you said the Wolfman. The classic.
Yeah, the pictures that I seen of the few actors and actresses, man, they are rough looking.
Yeah,
you couldn't even tell it was them. They are not pretty to look at.
That just reminded me too that there's a new Mummy movie coming out this year, right? So that means basically in a calendar year we got Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy, and then Wolfman, werewolf, right? And if you want to go back and put them together like that, you could look at it like that. So yeah, interesting. We'll see. But there you go. I mean, like I said, I didn't want to take the deep dive into the movie, but I think we all appreciated it for what it was, and like I said, how often are we going to get the opportunity to talk about not only this one, but next week we'll talk about Sinners, two movies that are getting like a shit ton of Oscar nominations for horror movies, right? So we'll see if Werewolf or any of these other ones that come out this year can do that next year. We'll see. But for now, we've got it, so let's enjoy it for the moment that we have it, right?
Yep.
Smoke, we'll let you go first. What's your final thoughts and what's your star rating on Frankenstein?
I enjoyed it for it's and honestly though, going into this, I didn't expect to it's Guillermo del Toro, and he's competent in every movie he does as far as the cinematography and all that, but I didn't really expect much out of it. I don't know if it's because it's Netflix, it's just going to be that, and it's getting this limited release. Maybe it's just going to be whatever. So I was very pleasantly surprised to really enjoy it, and it ended up being probably, I think, my favorite one. That I can't remember right now. What we talked about this at the end of last year, favorite movies. I can't remember if this is the one I named as my favorite of last year or close to it. It was up in there in the top 2 or 3, anyways, of last year. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's gothic horror though, and it's gothic horror done right. I think it's CG. There's some CG in there, but like I said, all the interior set designs at least aren't. These days you can't. You're not going to be able. You don't expect to see a full model set built of a castle or of whatever. It's like it's not really feasible to do that so much anymore. Most people are used to the CG look of those things anyway, so I can't really fault it for that. At least he did use interior actual set designs, for those rather than taking the easy path that a lot of modern directors do and do those in CG as well when it's something elaborate like a gothic castle or a laboratory or something like that. So the effects were cool. There's a decent amount of gore, and we'll get to the gore score a little later. So yeah, that I was surprised by that too because it was just well done. I think all the way around. Performances were great. Again, cinematography great. Effects. The storyline itself, even though it stays close to the novel in some aspects, but in many other aspects, and it veers away from it, which is fine. It doesn't have to be exactly like the novel for some movies have done that, and this one kind of skirts the medium path there between vastly different than the novel, like some of the other adaptations have been, and spot on. So it's not either of those things. It takes what's come before and twists it in a different direction. I think to where it's something you haven't really seen.
To me, to me, the story of Frankenstein is almost like the story of Superman. Like all you need to do is hit kind of the major beats. As long as you do that, you can go in any other direction you need to go. Just get to the same point.
Yep. I think it, like I said, I think it is probably the closest the creature maybe has looked to the novel, which is interesting. And it might not be 100% accurate to the novel anyway. It definitely brings to mind the Prometheus aspect of it. Like I said, the novel being called Frankenstein, a modern Prometheus, bringing that aspect of the god Prometheus into it, very much like that. So I can picture that when I see the creature in here. You don't feel that runtime like we've already talked about that. It's pretty long, but you don't feel it because the pacing is just right for the whole movie. And I think I'm going to go with I'll go 3 3/4.
All right, Tiana, what do you say?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I mean, I knew it was going to be decent or whatever, but like Brian said, I didn't know it was going to be as good as I liked it or whatever from coming from Netflix. But every frame is just gorgeous. The cinematography and the acting, that really blew me away. And I hope Jacob does get an award for that because I think it's well deserved. But I'm going to give this 4.5. I would give it a 5, but I mean, it's just Frankenstein. It's been told before so many times. So
true. Yeah, and honestly, it's funny you said 4.5 because that's exactly where I was sitting with it, because that's what I gave it. When I did my own little, like throughout the year when I'm watching something, I'll kind of like give my knee jerk rating just like we do here, but I'll write it down somewhere. Just keep it for later, just so I can stack them up and everything. And that's what I gave it at that time. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with 4.5 for all the same reasons. Everybody does a great job in this. It looks awesome. It's entertaining, even though it's long as hell. That doesn't detract from it at all.
No.
Yeah, it's just bravo, well done. I mean, and I didn't have, like you said, super high expectations for it, but I knew it was Del Toro, so I was like, the benefit of the doubt there. I'm like, it's gonna look cool if nothing else. We'll see about the story.
Yeah, honestly, the trailer, I wasn't impressed with the trailer. I think that's what it was. For whatever reason, I didn't really find the visuals in the trailer. I thought it was going to go in some like weird, spacey, non-gothic look to it just because of what they showed in the trailer. But I don't know. It wasn't that though. Thankfully,
you just named the only thing that would have made it better if they'd went in space.
Yeah,
but I don't even remember watching the fucking trailer. I must have avoided it.
Yeah, I
must have because I really don't remember.
Avoid trailers.
I remember it being short, but they didn't really Netflix. They didn't even like really.
Yeah, it didn't show the creature at all,
out.
of course, or anything like that. They just showed some
Yeah, they
some
didn't.
some scenes, but I don't remember. It was maybe something inside the lab. The way the sun was coming in the window and all, it just looked very artificial looking to me.
Yeah.
And then I thought that's why I thought this whole movie is going to be this CG digital thing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to hate it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't, thankfully.
Well, it's Del Toro, so
Yeah.
there's certain people I trust. I mean, yeah, they can fuck it up, but
Yeah.
I trust them. Donnie, what do you say?
Yeah, pretty much the same reasons that you guys enjoyed it, I did as well. So yeah, I'll just cut right to the chase. I'm gonna say 4 stars. Also, we didn't mention this earlier, but there was also an actor recently that passed, who also played Frankenstein in the Monster Squad.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Noonan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he recently.
Yeah, I think we did post something up on our socials about that.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to go check out that episode we did on the Monster Squad, one of Donnie's favorites
Yeah.
that he wasn't here for.
I'm
Yeah, it's
still
right
pissed
before
about it.
it came out. I think.
Yeah, right before. But yeah, we talked about him and how awesome he was, and he's been in lots of other stuff.
Yeah.
He was in lots of other cool stuff. So yeah, it's good to mention him.
And there's another actor that we need to talk about, and that's Robert.
Oh yeah,
Duvall.
Robert Duvall. Yeah. Now, Smoke, you might be better versed without me looking at anything. Was he in any horror? I mean, surely at some point he had to have been in a horror movie, right? But I can't think of anything right away.
No.
Maybe
Yeah, I mean,
had to have been.
I'm sure. But I would think that his career he would have had to been, but nothing comes to mind either
Yeah.
right now for me.
Yeah.
I mean, now he was in a movie that can be construed as very, very horrible. Apocalypse Now.
Well, yeah.
The horrible circumstances, but not technically a horror movie.
The horror.
The horror.
Looks like he makes a brief cameo in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Which
Oh,
one?
Yeah.
he's the priest
78.
in the beginning. I
You
just
You talking about the
watched that.
1978 one?
Yeah.
Yes, I just watched that, so that's how I know.
There
In
you
the
go.
beginning, he's swinging on a swing with the kids, and that's it. He's a priest.
That's random.
Strange. Yeah.
But
it
at
was.
least there you go. He covered all the genres then. If
Yeah.
he got in there, at least he got. I think I mentioned to y'all, there was one movie that came out, like, it's probably one of his last dozen or so movies, something like that. It's toward the end. It was a movie with Bill Murray. It was kind of an indie flick, art house type of flick, but it's called Get Low. And it was I would recommend you go check that out. It was a really good movie, and he's awesome in it, as he pretty much was in everything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, they always say these things come in 3, like with deaths or whatever. So I don't remember if there was a third. Maybe there was. I'm not thinking about it, but unfortunately, it seems like those things kind of happen like that, right? So there you go. So that brings us back to Frankenstein. That brings us to a consensus of 4.1, technically 4.19 out of 5. So we obviously highly recommend you go check it out. Go see it multiple times. It's there on Netflix. You got no reason not to, right? You don't have to travel very far. Most people have a Netflix subscription. It's right there. Donnie, before we close up shop here, what kind of connections could you find?
Connections from the crypt.
Yeah, so I have on the cast side, I've got I've got one, and then, well, technically I have 2. So one, and then an honorable mention. So the first one I have is Mark Steger. He played the spinal corpse in the first part of the movie. And he was also in The Nun and Black Friday when we covered that.
Oh,
Yeah.
good Lord.
Yeah, so he was one of the so yeah. And then honorable mention for Ralph Ineson, who played Professor Crampy. And he was in The Witch.
Ah, there you go, Smoke.
That was a while back.
A witch connection.
Yeah.
The
Witch.
Witch.
And not that mediocre Hammer movie that we just watched, The Witches. No, The Witch, the good one.
And this is
The Vivitch.
Yeah, the
right.
Witch, yeah.
And on the crew side, this is actually pretty cool. We got a contact lens painter, Kevin Carter, who was in past Spookshow episodes when we did It Chapter 2, Black Friday, yet again,
Oh, what the hell?
Evil Dead 2013,
Mm.
Mandy, and Terrifier 2.
So he's done some good work.
Yeah.
And then Black Friday.
And that's, yeah. And then Black Friday. Well, yeah, he's done a lot of work, but that's just
the
Spookshow.
stuff that we've done. Yeah.
just-
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good ones that you said there. Yeah, in that list that he's worked on for
Mm-hmm.
us. So there you go. Tiana, what kind of kill count?
I got 28.
Now, where I'm blanking on some of the big moments, like those guys on the ship, right?
Yeah, that was
That's-
like 6 total right in the beginning.
Yeah, there's probably some dudes there at the beginning and towards the end when he comes back with a rampage, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
probably where a lot of them are,
yeah.
and just various throughout here and there. A long 2.5 hour movie about a monster. There's bound to be a decent body count, right? You think so? Highlight kill. Let's talk about the kill reel.
Highlight. Kill.
I guess I got to go with Christoph Waltz. I'm blanking on his character again. I just said it a minute ago, but I guess I got to go with that one because that one's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that one. So Smoke, we'll let you wrap it up with the gore score. What you got?
Gore score.
Yeah, it's got some splatter. Oh, I don't know about splatter. It's got gore in it. It's got a lot of body parts in it. A lot of flopping body parts.
They lived up to that gross building a monster.
scientific horror thing. Yeah.
He definitely leaned into that.
Yeah, he didn't skip on that. So, but I mean, that's what you expect from it, Frank. I mean, there wasn't much of the creature. Yeah, he was killing people, but I mean, on the boat, it's not showing any kind of, he's not smashing their heads off or anything like that or
Yeah, I
whatever.
think the worst kill the monster actually does is rip
The
that
jaw,
hun-
the
yeah,
jaw,
the hunter,
kinda.
the jaw.
Oh, it's,
off the
yeah.
hunter.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, as far as him killing, that's probably the goriest
brutal one.
bit of him killing. Most of it, like I said, was the scientific horror aspects of things, And that aspect is kind of like Reanimator,
Yeah.
Herbert West and Reanimator. I mean, it had,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have the comedic gore like that.
You
movie
didn't
had.
have the cat that kept coming back to life and shit. But
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll go with a 7. The gore score, pretty juicy.
Solid.
That's a solid number. I mean, it's not Terrifier level stuff, right? But I mean,
No.
that put it in perspective. Just recently, we did Friday the 13th, the final chapter. That you gave that a 7.
Yeah.
So it's right there with that. So
Yeah.
if you hold that one in regard, gore wise,
And that was Tom Savini hitting out. Of course,
There
that's
you
a
go.
slasher movie, so you get more cool and cool kills and all that. This one is just, like I said, mainly the scientific horror of severed, dismembered body parts and things.
Yeah. Yep.
And him working on, slicing them open. Although we didn't really talk about that, but the way that was cool, the way that he was introduced, I guess, the creature whenever Elizabeth was in there, seeing him with his back splayed open, where you could see his spine and everything and all that.
Yeah. Like I said, that nasty kind of, but real kind of true to life scientific part of it,
horror.
Beautifully grotesque.
Yeah.
What would we say this on some level? There's definitely some elements of it, but body horror type. Would you say that here?
Yes, you could. I mean, in the
Yeah,
sense
I
of
think so.
the scientific. I mean, he brings this creature back to life, and also the other thing on the slab, right? The one that looked like a little bit like the Boris Karloff,
Yeah, the spinal ghost,
interpretation.
spinal cord.
Those types of things. In a way, I guess it could be that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely gross enough at parts to qualify.
Yeah.
So there you go. Awesome flick. So next week we'll talk about another one that's a little more interesting, and interesting for no other reason than it made so much money, and it was one of the highest grossing original horrors in like a long time, like over a decade or something like that. Just where it's not from something else, it's not from a novel, it's not from adapted from, it's not a remake, reboot, whatever the hell we have so many of now. It's an original screenplay, and that's Sinners from last year. So we'll be talking about that, and that'll lead us up to our guesses on what we'll do big, I guess, at the Oscars or whatever. Maybe we'll have like a little mini Oscar preview there attached to that one, and then onward and upward, because we got some St. Patrick's Day action going on after that. So there you go. So that'll be it. So for Tiana, Donnie, Professor Smoke. I'm Josh. We are the All American Spook Show. Go check out aaspookshow.com, which will lead you to our YouTube, where you can watch latest installments of Grindhouse Gutter, the new look Video Vortex, Hammer Horror and Order, which is a nice little companion to this, I believe, too, as well. Go to our TeePublic page where you can get merch and of course, become a patron of the Spook Show by going to patreon.com/aaspookshow. You get lots of bonus content. You help us out. You get the episodes early, all that stuff. So go over there and do that. So that's it. We'll talk to you next week.
Please replace the speaker on its rack when you're ready to leave. Failure to do so will damage both the speaker and your car. We'll be grateful, and so will the patrons who follow you.